Decision Diaries.
Welcome to Decision Diaries. Today on Decision Diaries, we are going to be talking about decisions you have to make in the case of a zombie apocalypse. So, I have decided that we're talking about a decision that clearly we haven't already made. And I'm talking about that decision with my husband, Bruce Layfield. Welcome.
Got the what if today. Here we go.
Yeah, there's
Thought
what
it'd
if
be fun.
decisions. So I think, we should open up decisions to sort of what if scenarios. So there are a lot of different zombie apocalypse movies, which we've been watching, but I thought we would use the situation from The Walking Dead because we've got a better chance of survival because those zombies walk a little slower than like the World War Z zombies, which are clearly
Oh, they were
really,
fast.
really
Those who
fast.
can get it.
Yeah, they're really, really fast. So they can come after you and you do not have a single chance of survival. So welcome, my husband, Bruce Layfield.
Hey, thanks for having me back. What website am I supposed to tell you to go to again?
Oh, I forgot again. Okay, everybody should be going to decisiondiaries.com. And on that website, I have all of my episodes. I have a photo gallery. And, hopefully you will sign up to receive some emails from us or some funny tips or tricks. So please sign up for our email list and be a member. So back to our decision.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. So here's the scenario. We have just been given 48 hours and told about these zombies that are slowly walking towards Florida. We have our 19-year-old son who is in Orlando, and we have a 22-year-old son who is in Austin, Texas. Okay. So, babe, what are we going to do?
Run like hell. Let's go. I'm getting the dog and I'm getting a couple sticks. I'm going to take the chainsaw, whatever I got to go, I'm taking with me. I'm loading up all the gas I can. I'm getting the hell out of town because I don't want to be in a big city. There's one thing I don't want to be in is a big city.
Okay. So, number one decision, we are not going to stay in our house. I think we both agree on that.
I'd stay in my house if I was a prepper. And I actually thought about this the other day. I thought about, we have that extra 2-car garage in the back and I thought maybe I should like cut a hole in the bottom of it and like completely renovate it and maybe have a bomb shelter type deal. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of badass and make it, I was thinking about that the other day. That'd be kind of fun to do like as a prepper, but I don't prep for work. I don't prep for anything in my life. So what makes me think I'm going to prep for this?
Yeah, I don't know I think we probably could project plan that, but like I said, if we were given 48 hours in our current state of our house right now.
Oh, no.
And I just want to tell everybody, we just recently cleaned out our refrigerator and it's so nice, but there's not a lot in it.
There's nothing in our refrigerator. There's no food in our house.
There really isn't. We really are just kind of living pretty lean with the food situation. Okay, so we're going to go. We're leaving.
Okay, so the first thing I'm doing probably is I would, like I said, I'd pack up my truck, whatever I can get my hands on, any weapons, anything like that, because you never know. People are crazy in these situations. I would try, if I had the quick enough response, if I knew before everybody else, I would probably end up at a grocery store and I would just stock everything that doesn't die, it won't rot out. So I would have a lot of potato chips. I'd have a lot of beans. I'd have a lot of things that last a long time because I think I need to be able to eat until I can, get some, on a farm or whatever I need to do. I would think that's what I would do.
Right. So we are going to go and, we're probably going to hit, Costco. Sam's is around the corner. So I think, we want to go get our son in Orlando. I think as a mother, I want to obviously get the family together. So the closest one that we'd have to go to and get would be our youngest in Orlando.
If our cell phones are working, I would tell Corey, get the hell out of town, go through the middle of the state. Don't go on the freeways, get off the freeways because that's where everybody's going to be. And I would meet him somewhere in the middle of the state. Probably just south of Gainesville, somewhere around there, maybe Alachua, somewhere like Ocala or something like that, just so I can get out of the big cities. I don't I think the worst thing to be would be in a big city because that's where everything's really going to go down at.
Right, right. Okay, so let's assume that Corey follows our instructions.
That's an
And
assumption.
yeah, and we at least get our youngest son with us. Are we gonna have him keep his car and follow us like a train? Like at one point we did evacuate for a hurricane, and you and I both had our cars as we were evacuating and driving out. And it's interesting because you have two cars, and then, one car, I remember, I think it was my car that was kind of running out of gas faster than the other car. So Corey's going to follow us, right? We're going to have two cars.
I don't know if I'd have two cars. I think there's strength in numbers, so I'd have him in the truck with us.
Okay.
Um,
And the dog.
and
We've
the
got the
dog, of
dog.
course, the dog. And she would be a great help because she is a honey dog, so she would actually be a lot
Oh,
better
yeah.
help.
She could get us some birds.
She
She's a
birds,
bird dog.
squirrels,
Yeah,
whatever
squirrels.
wild animals out there, she's
Hey,
on it,
hey.
buddy.
I'm not opposed to, eating some squirrel on a stick in a survival
You
situation.
know what? I want to see you eat a squirrel on a stick.
I think they serve those at fairs. Yes, the squirrel on a stick. Okay, so we've got our son, and then assuming that our Texas son also somehow coordinates with us, but we're not as worried about the Texas son because he's a jujitsu guy, and he is surrounded about around a
Was he
lot
gonna
of
check? Is he
jujitsu
gonna
guys.
choke out these zombies? Is that what your idea is? Rip their heads off with his Kimura grip or whatever it is? Is that what you're thinking he's gonna do?
Well, yeah, he can't jujitsu the zombies, but I feel like he would be amongst a lot of survivalists. So I feel like he could have a little more time than, Corey being in a big city. We'd have to get Corey out of the big city first.
Yes, Corey would need to be out first. Sean would probably be okay because he's with a bunch of maniacs anyway. So he would probably be okay. I think if it went down before I'm assuming the cell services, all that's going to go down, electric's going to go down. I would try to coordinate, hey, this is where we want to try to be, and have him try to meet us there.
Okay, so let's talk about the place we want to be, and so that's one of the key. Of course, my Chat GPT Open AI is telling me that one of the key decisions in an apocalypse is deciding where you are going to seek shelter. So, if we had time, where's a good place? Where would you want to go?
Would hopefully our government, hopefully, knock on wood, would have a safe place. But if they don't, I would probably try to find somewhere in maybe I want to keep close to water, so it would have to be in the south somewhere. Um, not probably yeah, just away from big cities. That's probably my biggest thing, and close to a water source where you can fish. There's a lot of animals around water, so you can to me that's where I'd want to be.
All right, I've been thinking about this,
Okay,
so I've got a plan.
let's go.
Okay, so a couple things. I think you need to stay near places you know. And we know Florida really, really well.
True.
We also, you didn't mention, we're packing up our bikes. We love our
Oh
bikes.
yeah.
We've got our mountain bikes, but we also anticipate, you could run out of gas and we could maybe outrun the zombies on our mountain bikes. So we definitely bring the mountain bikes with us. But I was thinking about this, and we've gone on so many really cool trails that have brought us to water sources,
Right.
and so I say we're staying in Florida for sure. And then I would love a place where it has a freshwater source, but then we're not too far from the ocean, because I believe that I could live off of oysters for a very long time as opposed to having to eat squirrels all day. But
You would eat oysters all day versus squirrels. I know this about you. This is yes. You would be a super oyster freak. So yeah,
yeah.
it would be interesting to watch you harvest oysters. I think I want to watch that. I've actually done it before. I want to see this. This is going to be kind of
Oh, it's
funny.
it's it's not easy.
No, it's not
It's
easy.
not easy, but if
You
I'm
would
out in the
probably shuck
oyster
them. Knowing
bed.
you probably just shuck them in place and eat them right at the spot. That
Well, I mean, oysters are, we've got plenty of them, and low tide goes out. And the other day when we were eating at a seafood restaurant, I looked And what I saw was abundance of food for an apocalypse. So there you go. So I'm eating oysters. I think you would come to love them if you were starving.
Sure.
So I think we'd be somewhere. I want to say, what's also awesome is we do have some forts, and some of our forts. You'd be surprised in Florida. There's some little kind of hideaway, little mini castle forts, like Fort Matanzas, that have nice big thick walls. Probably not a lot of people around there, unless of course some zombies like the forestry parks department got bit, and there'd be like some park service people running around, and we could kill them pretty quickly.
Yeah, but
Unfortunately,
you're
we could
somewhere
get
like
them.
Matanzas during bad weather, you're going to have to go inland. So what are you going to do that? What are you going to do if you by the ocean and you have to go inland?
Oh, because of a hurricane?
Yeah.
I would really encourage a hurricane, because that, to me, that would really wipe out a few of those zombies. So,
How would it wipe out a zombie? They're crawling around the ground anyway.
well, maybe the ocean would take them away. But here's the thing about Florida that's miserable: mosquitoes.
Yeah, that would
So
suck.
like mosquitoes, like I don't know, if a mosquito bit a zombie and then a mosquito bit me, would I turn
Wow,
into a zombie?
that's a good idea. I
Like
haven't
I
thought of
don't know.
that.
That's like a blood transfusion. But anyways, so I
So what you're telling me is you're going to go get a industrial sized can of off
yes.
and take a swimming off every day before you go outside?
Yeah, I think that we need to make sure we grab some mosquito repellent, since we're clearly staying in Florida, and then obviously I'm gonna have to like eating also snakes on a stick, in addition to squirrels on a stick and some oysters, and then you're gonna have to get over your fish thing. You're gonna have to eat some
Well, I would eat
fish.
fish again. That's not a big deal.
Yeah,
But
you'd eat some fish.
but I wonder if the people in up north, way north, let's say Alaska, don't have it kind of down already.
They do
They're
have it down.
secluded. They don't they live on the land. Everything's on the land. We'd have to do that in Florida, but there'd definitely be other people around. If we survived, I guarantee you other people survived.
Well, again, we're assuming that we could survive that, but we don't really have a ton of survival skills. So I'm going to ask you a couple of things.
Oh, here we go.
Which one of us is going to decide to make the fire? Who do you think has a better chance on making fire?
If there's gas, I got it. But if there's no gas, I better figure out how to.
Do you know how to make fire?
I could probably figure it out.
Like the sticks, rubbing together the
I'm
sticks.
gonna rub them. I'm really good at rubbing sticks together.
You think you think you have the patience?
No, I don't have the patience for that shit.
Create fire.
Create fire.
Okay, so let's make sure we have plenty of matches in the house. I actually think we do. And then I'm gonna I'm gonna bring some candles and some flashlights. Okay, so we haven't even talked about medical supplies, and this is really interesting because we have been in the same house for quite some time. And so I'm going to ask you, we have 48 hours, we've got to pack. Do you even know where our medical supplies are?
Fuck no, I don't know where they are. Are you kidding me? I ask you where the
Same house.
Tylenol is for the last 30 years or 23 years we've been in the same house.
So
I ask you every day, where's the Tylenol? Or I ask you where are the Band-Aids at? They're always in the same place, apparently, but I don't know where they are.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay.
It's not amazing.
So
It's just I want to hear your voice, Lynn.
yeah, well, if something happens to me, you're not going to know where half of our supplies are.
If
So
those
it's a
zombies
good thing
get you, if those zombies get you, I'll make sure. I'll
yeah, well, if a zombie gets me, just go ahead. You have my approval to take me out. Take me out. Don't let me roam the earth biting other people. Okay, so another question that AI is telling us we have to do is, when we're scavenging for supplies, it says determine which locations to scavenge for food. I think you and I agreed we were kind of hitting the Sam's Club, but I feel like everybody would think of the Sam's Club because obviously it's everything in bulk, and that would be crazy.
Right. I mean, to me, you're going to go to where the bulk places are, and you better be the first one there, and it's going to be an absolute zoo, or people are just going to haul ass and go. I would definitely try to hit Sam Clubs, and I'll also try to hit whatever pharmacy I could get to whatever, if I could get an industrial pack of Z packs, a carton of Z packs.
Oh yeah,
more medical supplies, because you never know what you're going to come across. I mean, you're still going to get colds, you're still going to get sick, you still might get COVID. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, yeah.
and exactly, right? So, I don't know, man. I'm gonna make sure I have enough medical supplies if I have the time to do it. If I'm driving home and I'm looking around and there's, it's a zoo at Publix or at Dollar General or at Pepe's grocery store, I'm gonna get worried, and I'm probably like everybody else, pack my shit and go, and then worry about it along the way. Probably not the right way to do things, but you know, you got to get out of there, because if you don't get out soon, you're going to get stuck, and I don't want to be stuck.
Oh, yeah. Well, we almost got stuck. It's interesting because Floridians, we know what, a run of supplies looks like. We
Absolutely.
also know what a run of supply of gas looks like
Yes.
because, at one point you and I have had to evacuate before, and we did a couple of smart things. One time, we took some of the back roads and we,
We got
made
out of
it
town
all the way
fast. We
to
got
we
to
made it all the way to a very small town in Georgia, and that small town in Georgia just let us in with open arms. But in the case of an apocalypse, that may not be the same situation. But yeah, we've seen that. So I'm with you. You really have to kind of you have to kind of read the situation very quickly, make very quick decisions, and then decide whether getting those supplies is worth it if there's a swarm going in there, or whether you just need to create some distance and maybe um, get your supplies from places a little off the beaten path. Okay, so number three, and I think there's five of these. No, there's six of these. Okay, number three, forming alliances. Okay, so how are
What is
we
this?
going
I
to
guess it's
form
become Survivor all
alliances?
of a sudden,
It
hasn't it?
is Survivor, and in the Walking Dead, and you haven't seen a whole lot of The Walking Dead, but
One episode.
only one episode. So in The Walking Dead, um, they try to figure out, they try to read people to figure out who should be in your group. So do you have any like criteria of people being in the group? I do feel like sometimes people cross your path that are meant to cross your path. So I feel like if we did see somebody who was, kind of our age and had children our age, that we would just immediately kind of understand where they are, and then I don't know. What do you think? Would we make our group bigger or
No,
no?
I'd keep my group lean and mean. That's the way I would want to go. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want to be.
a community.
I wouldn't want to be a community right off the bat. I think I'd want to be lean until I can figure everything out, until everything's kind of calmed down and the dust has settled a little bit. And I'll give you a perfect example is when we went to Venice and the train station was blocked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so we couldn't get to the final stop, and we all stopped. The 15 trains stopped at the station prior to the Venice main station, and there was probably a crowd of 3 or 4 thousand people sitting right in front of the station, and no one knew what to do because they were supposed to send buses to us in this city that sits literally outside the Venice Islands. And I just looked at the boys, and I looked at you, and I said, "We got to get out of this crowd right now. We got to get out of here right now." And so we trudged our luggage, which wasn't very heavy, wasn't very bad. We walked 9 blocks, found a city bus going into Venice. So if I wouldn't have done that, we probably would not have got into Venice for about another 3 or 4 hours. Maybe at nighttime, because we were there around noon. We probably wouldn't have got there at Venice around probably 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And it's just because I didn't feel comfortable being around those people. I needed to find a way out.
Yeah, it's really not good to be in the middle of what I call the mindless mob. And it was also interesting when we kind of got put into that situation, and just so everybody kind of hears, we're in Italy and we do not know Italian. We do know that, the train stopped and we need to get off, but after that, we really didn't have any direction. And what's also really interesting is our youngest son. um, he he reacts interestingly in emergency situations. And so he is that child that everyone has that is like, no, I want to go right. when the family wants to go left. And I remember
Yes.
he was starting to be like, Mom, we need to follow the crowd. And, that's when I don't know what I said to him, but I was like,
You're like, follow your dad.
yeah, I was like, snap out of it. And I grabbed him really quick. And, he is the child that you have to be like, nope, bad idea. We're making this decision and you're coming with us. Our older one
That was a
is a
snap
little more,
decision. That was a
yeah,
snap
yeah.
decision.
But our older one is a little more follow us, kind of follows what you are thinking in your head. So our younger one during this situation we'd always have to kind of make sure he didn't drift off too far.
Right.
I would always be worried about him like going out into the woods and then turning around and being bit by a zombie. So yeah, we really have to keep a very close eye on him. And as you
We'd
mentioned,
rope his ass up to the
right, and as you mentioned,
truck.
we would be just a tight group of us.
Yeah, I would be lean because, like I said, until I know who the community is, I want to be able to make decisions for myself. I don't want somebody to make decisions for me. I need to know if it's a good group and everybody's making good decisions, then I'd be okay. But if it's not, I want to be able to move on and get out and go. I don't want to be dependent on anybody in those type of situations. Now, when if we got into a community where everybody pitched in, everybody did their fair share, um, I don't have a problem with that at all. Kind of like in that one spot at The Last of Us in the movie.
Oh yeah, they had a nice fort.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had
they
a
had a
nice,
really nice
yeah, they
fort,
had
a
a nice,
really
yeah,
nice kind of system. They had people who knew how to grow things.
right.
I don't know what skills we'd bring to the community, but I will say that I could bring humor.
Oh, you got
So I
that.
mean that's actually one of the things on the list here. So okay, so we're we're checking out people trying to decide whether we're getting into a skilled equal amount of work type of group, and there's some kind of logical system. I also feel like we would kind of test that out in the sense that if we found a group and we got a bad feeling, we are very prepared to move on. I think because of our ADDness and
Oh yeah,
everything
yeah. We
else,
were out the door.
I
See
think
ya.
that we have a hard time staying in one place. And if you've watched enough of these apocalyptic movies, they do kind of say staying in one place, the good times don't last forever. You do have to kind of keep moving or keep ahead of it depending on,
Right.
have some sort of destination. So I don't think we'd be able to stay in a community long just because, I don't know, maybe they'd kick us out. All right. So the fourth one is managing morale. This is where I shine. This is where, this is where I think that our family would be very good at humor. And, when we talk about how our family dealt with that situation in Italy and in Venice, you also forget that we had a wounded older son
Right.
who literally had a staph infection on his shin while, we were leaving the train station in a foreign country, and it was, an active
On a
staph
Sunday.
infection on
On
a
a Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, and we didn't have any idea where pharmacies were. So during that time when we were kind of running away from the train station, because we didn't really know why the train station. We heard the word bomb at one point, so we weren't quite sure. But as we were running away, and we went about 9 blocks, as you mentioned, we stopped randomly, and the first thing I thought of, I looked beside me, and there was a Chinese restaurant, and I was ready to sit down and eat. So, and you guys were still all
Jesus.
wound up, but I was like, I haven't seen a Chinese restaurant the whole time in Italy, and here we are. And I was kind of like, what's the rush, right? So I think that I would really be great for like that
Perspective.
person who was having a little anxiety attack or having a little trauma, and I would be like, let's talk about Chinese food, or let's talk about this, or let's talk about that, or
What?
I might tickle
Why?
them, or I don't know what I would do, but I think that I would somehow get them to look at the silver lining.
Worst idea
And
I've ever heard.
no, I think that I guess I would be the community
You
jester.
can't. You would be the clown, class clown. No, I think me being able to build stuff would probably be helpful, but I don't know. I mean, you'd have to be able to fit in, but I would just want to be lean and mean. I want to be able to move quick, and if I found a good group that I felt comfortable with, I wouldn't have a problem with, I could, relinquish some of that control. That wouldn't be a big deal. But when you're talking about family, you got to be able to take care of yourselves because at the end of the day, everybody's going to take care of their family first.
Right, right. Well,
And they
and
don't,
I know how to
and
raise the morale
right.
in
But
our family, but if I'm in a community, I might get kicked out.
yeah, the problem is you don't need, yeah, God, Lord help us. We get kicked out of everything. No, when you're in a group like that, people are going to take care of their own first, and we've seen that in a lot of situations where we are trying to be giving to everybody else. A lot of these people just take care of their own. They're family first, no matter what, and that's no problem. I don't have a problem with that, but I think you got to learn how to change your mindset to be like you don't trust anyone, and
Oh, you're going dark.
yeah, well,
No, well, let me.
you can't trust anybody
Well,
because
I know that.
it's
I
the
know that.
situation. Because
But this one is talking about, decide how to maintain your mental well being of the group. And if the group, let's just talk about us. If the group is just us,
okay.
I think that
Oh
I'm
no,
the
you'd be
best
fun. Yeah,
person.
you and Sean would definitely. If Sean was with us, you and Sean would definitely be the funnest for sure, no doubt about it. You'd keep us laughing, no question.
Well, and then also I would keep the little pity parties to a minimum. Like
There won't be time for a pity party because you're trying to move on. There's no pity. I mean, you have a pity party when you're lazy, when you don't have anything to do, and you sit around the couch and oh, woe is me. Well, when the world's going to hell in a handbasket, there's no more pity party time. It's time to
yeah, yeah,
buck up,
because everybody's
suck
got
it
like a
up.
bad story,
Yeah,
right? Like
suck it up.
we're all
It's a
running
shit
away
show
from the
everywhere, man.
we're all running away from the same zombies. Okay, so Sean and I are well. I mean, you and Corey are funny too, but
Oh, thanks.
I think that Sean and I know
Wah
how to
wah
pull
wah.
everybody. We know how to pull everybody out of a downward spiral. So I'm in charge of morale. Okay, there is handling threats, right? There is handling threats, decisions about whether to
I'm
how
impressed
to
you asked
handle.
Chat GPT this. It's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
well, I won't be able to ask Chat GPT this in the case of apocalypse because I won't have my cell phone or my computer. But I'm asking now. So it says decisions might include, you know, whether we confront the zombies or how do we kind of get away from potential threats. I'm really not up for going and seeking danger. I do think that if I saw sort of a large group of zombies, I wouldn't feel the need to, I'd let them go by like cattle. And, I would try to choose my timing so I was always never having to truly kill a zombie. But the fact of the matter is, we'd have to get good at that.
Right, absolutely. You got to be able to do it, right?
Yeah. It
Um,
might be a pickleball racket, but whatever.
smash the way you hit. You probably will so. No, I don't know. It's dealing with threats. I mean, if what are your threats? I mean, it could be other people that want what you have. That's why
Oh, going dark again.
yeah. I mean, you got to because you went dark with the damn apocalypse. What the hell? Zombies are running the world. What the hell, Lynn? That's dark. It's not happy and sunshine and rainbows anymore. What the hell are we talking about? So of course it's dark. No, I think you got to be able to handle the situations with people and now zombies and animals because you're going to pick up some stray dogs along the way. You got to, right? I mean, there's going to be dogs that. I mean, my dog's going to be the queen, but
Oh yeah. Now she's loud. She would actually, if
she
she
would be
barked at the
alert.
wrong time,
Well, she would probably get us in trouble. Yeah,
she'd bring the zombies to
I
us.
got to call her
Okay.
for that.
Yeah. Oh, well, the
Well, there
caller
won't be
couldn't.
electricity, so yeah, never mind.
There's no electricity, so it won't be charged. Okay, so uh, the next one is long-term planning. So if this is the state of of what life is like, how do we start establishing some, some long-term plans, like planning for future generations. Oh, and by the way, I do believe that we might have our son's girlfriend with us too, because I don't see in any
He doesn't
apocalyptic.
have her with her. Yeah, you're right.
He would
Yeah,
he
he'd turn heaven and earth for that.
Yeah, he would turn heaven and earth, and we would have to go with him to find her, rescue her, and be with her family. So our long term planning is that Frey and Sean eventually, I guess I'd have to deliver a baby. I'd
I
have to learn how to deliver a baby, or you deliver the baby. Which one of us is delivering Sean and Freya's baby for
Ooh,
long
that
term
is a good
planning for the
question.
next generations?
I know you're squeamish.
I
Good
don't think I'd
lord.
be squeamish. I think that, in cases of emergency, I can be quite calm, and I think, I want a grandchild, so I got to get those twins.
What if it comes
So,
out a zombie?
well, I don't. Now you're just throwing a wrinkle in there. If it comes out a zombie, it's not my grandchild, so it's no problem. But that's part of the planning, and then, we need to find a mate for Corey for the next generation. So,
Yeah,
I don't know. We'd have to. So we're gonna have to, get with a group if we want to really go
yeah, and
for
I
long term
think
planning.
I think that's what would happen. I mean, and then if anything ever happened to us, they would be able to move forward and go. I mean, it's not like you're saving for your retirement anymore. It doesn't matter. You're saving for your life. So everything you kill or eat or fish, whatever you catch, whatever you grow, is maintaining, and hopefully, there'd be other like-minded people near that you could,
Yeah. So in our
meet.
little group, who's the hunter and the gatherer?
I would probably be the hunter.
You'd probably be the
Probably Sean
hunter.
and I would be the hunter. Or Corey and I would be the hunter. I think Corey would like it too. I think Sean and Corey would definitely love it. I don't think I have a problem with it.
All right.
I grew up
So,
doing it, so it's no big
well,
deal.
somebody needs to stay back with us while you guys are, hunting and gathering. And what kind of, like, there are no mocking jays; those are not real things. So, like, how are we communicating when
Fucking
you
Jay.
guys, when you guys are in the woods? How do we know, like what kind of signals are we gonna do to, like? Are we gonna do like caca? Like, what are we doing
The hell
for?
was that, Lynn? What kind of bird is that?
What kind of signals are we doing to let the others know that we're, like, safe? Like, like, what
I
kind of,
don't
are
know.
we come up
That's a
with
good
our own
question.
little language? I would imagine we would. Like, that's a really good point. Come up with your own family language so that you can talk and communicate danger with other people not understanding what you're saying.
That's true. That's actually a good
That's a
idea.
that's a good one.
That's
I
a
just thought of that.
Yeah. There you go. That's
Okay,
a
but if you guys were out in the woods and you were hunting and gathering, I would imagine we would try to somewhat time box it so that we would know if you stayed out, X amount of time
right.
that, you need help or we need help or
Or we
something.
all go as a group.
Yeah, but then we leave all our supplies behind.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
So I know, see what I'm saying?
See,
Okay.
I would like to have not escape room, but a
RV?
prepper's house. That would be awesome.
Oh, and I forget what movie was that.
It was so
The
good.
day the world stood still. What movie was that?
It was the one with Julia Roberts, yeah, where the little girl walks into the house.
She finds the house that has the ultimate prepper with, like, all the movies and
Right.
all the episodes of Friends, and it's like, wow, how
Diesel
lucky was
generators,
that?
everything, yeah.
Now that little girl has a lot in common with our younger son. She
Yeah.
was going out into the woods by herself with a deer, but then, of course, she ends up being the one that finds the ultimate room. So, not to, you don't know. Sometimes Corey has good luck. So maybe we let him wander a little bit. We just make sure we know where he is and he finds us a super prepper room. Okay, so this one does says ethical dilemmas. And I don't know that I want to go too deep into ethical dilemmas. I think I'm still back on food. I do feel like, would you eat dog food?
If I had to,
Yeah, I think I would prefer the dry dog food.
would you eat the dog?
No, I'd never eat our dog. I don't think, there's that ethical thing of, could you eat people? It seems like every apocalyptic movie, there's some weird, bizarre community that has some weird leader that makes it okay for everyone else to he makes the stew or she makes the stew and serves it to other people. I'm sorry, I could not be a part of that community.
No, I wouldn't be able to do that.
I mean, I don't understand why that's totally necessary. I really don't see why that's totally necessary, especially if you're by an ocean. Now, I mean, is it possible that ocean animals could also turn into zombies? I don't think anyone's explored that on any of these movies. Everything seems to be very land
Zombie
based.
sharks.
Zombie sharks would be really quite
It's kind of cool.
scary. But I mean, then they really, if they were zombie water animals, they wouldn't necessarily need to live in the water because they're dead. So the sharks could just land shark.
Land shark.
Land shark. It could be like a real thing. Land shark.
Land
Yeah.
shark.
Yeah. I would knock on the door and ask you to open it, just like Saturday Night Live episode. So yeah, no one's really talked about that. Now, if we had a boat and all these zombies are on land, would we just go out into the ocean with the boat and then come in to get supplies? What do you think about that?
That's a good idea, but
Like a sailboat,
yeah, I
not
mean,
a motorboat.
you'd have to be able to control it, and you'd have to be able to, things break in boats all the time, and the weather gets bad, it gets nautical, it gets crazy on the water. So you'd have to be able to go to a place where you can be shielded from weather.
Yeah, it
And
makes me
Florida's not
wonder.
really good for that. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
great little coves, but I don't think there's very good places that will knock down the wind and not, especially an ocean going boat. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. Around here,
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
tough. I think in the Pacific, probably be a little easier because you can find the coves and you can find things to hide in. Whereas here, just it's so flat. And no, I don't know. That's a good question. And the weather can get so bad so fast.
Right. Right. I do think that Florida has some advantages, or
Now
I think
we're
it has
talking
some
about
advantages
we're talking
that.
like a 40-foot like cabin boat, right? Like is that what you're talking about? Like a
Yeah,
sailboat
yeah.
type of deal?
I mean, something that you could just sleep on at night and not know that, zombies were coming up because they weren't swimming in the water and they're not likely to be organized enough to do a rowboat.
Right.
Fort Matanzas has that little inlet. We've got the little inside intercoastal
Yeah.
waterway that you could probably park there during a storm. But I agree with you that boats are, I don't think we're the best boat people. And that also makes me wonder if people would kind of rush to the marina and go and get boats because, if you hear something's on land, is it best to kind of go out to sea? What are your thoughts there?
Ah, that's a good question, Lynn. I really you got to come back sometime, and you don't know what you're getting into when you sell back. So is
Right.
the devil you know and the devil you don't know, right? So I don't know. That's I don't know if I would do that. I would think if I could get to a secluded place that had like an island that had food and I knew it was safe, hell yeah, I'm there. But if I knew, if there was no way to get there, or if there was nothing there, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could go to like the Bahamas or whatnot, and probably find a nice little island in the Bahamas and live probably pretty nice and pretty comfortable
Oh,
down there. You just have to worry about hurricanes during the fall, but
well, yeah.
and
I
you
mean,
wouldn't know where they're
hurricanes,
coming. I mean, you'd see the
no
weather.
radar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd know the weather. Your weather would change, but hopefully you build a strong enough bunker you can handle it.
Yeah. It's kind of like hurricanes or zombies. But, I also think maybe some people would take to the skies. When we watched the first episode of Walking Dead, you saw some helicopters. So if we had a helicopter, would we try to go look for what we thought would be a deserted island? Would we just completely isolate ourselves to a deserted island?
You know how hard it is to fly a helicopter? I mean, it's impossible. It's
You
so
wouldn't try
tough.
to fly a helicopter for our
I,
family?
I would. You're trying to kill me off. You're trying to go find one of
Oh,
your
we
old
would die.
boyfriends.
Yeah,
Try
we
to
would
find one.
die.
You're trying to hang out with your other boyfriends. I know you.
I've never dated
Um,
a helicopter pilot.
Me neither. But that does come up with if you had a friend that was a pilot. Hey, dude, there's an island over there. Let's go there. And he would be like, yes. Like Chris, our buddy Chris, he would probably figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like we have friends of ours that are better survivors than we are.
Oh, absolutely,
Do
no
you
question.
do you know how to make salt water drinkable?
No,
Okay, I just read about it in my survival book, and so you're gonna have to stick with me if you're gonna want to drink some salt water. I mean, you don't drink salt water,
Right,
but
correct.
you have to do some things to the water.
Yeah.
And we all can't go to REI and buy the little uh,
Filter.
packets and
Yeah.
the little filters. I do feel like we're at a pretty good point in our lives where we're also fairly healthy when this situation occurs. If it was to occur right now, I think we could mountain bike several miles if we had to.
Oh
And
yeah, there's
our kids are really independent right now. I would like to say though, if we brought up the situation when our children were 2 or 4, we're dead.
yeah, no, it's over.
We're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would not be
We're gone in the first
quiet.
wave, man. See ya.
Yeah, we would be in the first wave, and we haven't talked yet. I think the last thing we kinda need to cover, because this always happens in apocalyptic movies, is, people run towards the military.
Correct.
And where we are located, we have some pretty big military bases.
Right.
We also know friends who are in the military. So would we reach out to them and be like, okay, do they have a solution? Because also in apocalyptic movies, you've seen where people, all kinds of people, head towards military bases, but then the fence is up and you're only allowed in if you have,
A base badge,
a
yeah.
certain badge. And I don't feel like we have enough political clout that we would
No,
be
they
allowed
wouldn't be
in the
allowed on there,
fence.
but no way.
We're just your average Joes.
Right. So, like I said, the first wave would be, like I said, I'd be lean and mean. It'd just be the 4 of us or 5 of us. Second wave, I, if the military is providing safety and I can guarantee safety from that, I would probably be okay with it. But I think I'd want to be I just think I'd want to be away from more people because if something happens in that group, because you're going to be with a big group of people, because everybody's thinking like us, right?
Hmm.
Everybody's going to want to be with a big group. If somebody gets the fever or whatever they call, like in The Walking Dead, and turns into a zombie and starts biting dudes, then that whole
Oh, that
group,
whole group.
the whole group's gonzo. See ya later, done. So what do I don't know. I don't know if I want to be in large groups. I think I want to be groups that are lean and mean and they can take care of themselves. And
I feel like we've played this out in 2020.
it may have happened.
I feel like in 2020 we turned our little house into kind of a compound,
Oh, it definitely
and
did.
when we went out for supplies, we were very like. I remember I had Clorox wipes, and we were wearing masks, and we didn't really send our kids
Ugh.
to go get supplies. I mean, I feel like we've run through the scenario, and we've learned a few things. I think we kept our morale up most of the time.
No, we had a good time. There's no doubt
But I
about it.
also think we did have a good time in 2020 as best as we could. But I also think that we are kind of comfortable with dying in the first wave. That's how we felt in 2020. We were kind of like, if it
I've had
comes,
a good
if
run,
I've
right?
had a good
I
run. I
was 50
mean,
years old. It's
we're
like,
50 years
okay,
old. I mean, we're not the generation that you feel like you have to keep.
we're the doers, but no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, our children are 20-year-olds. They need to, live their life. They need to go and reproduce. And since, we're not reproducing
Yeah, but
anymore,
you
I
got to
guess
be able to
we're
help.
not key to humanity,
Yeah, you got to be able to help because those
except for humor.
morons, well, those morons couldn't wipe their butts still. So let's be honest. I mean, if there was another child in the group, we would have to take care of the child because they wouldn't know how to take care of the child.
Oh
Morons.
yeah, they really need
So
us for our wisdom about
right,
how to keep a baby alive, because they
keep
wouldn't have
yeah.
any books. We'd have to go run to a library and get some books for
God,
them
those
and that type
morons.
of stuff. And yeah, you're right. Our wisdom with child rearing is
Child
our key to
rearing
the next
are
generation.
yes, and there's a lot that we still have. Our wisdom would be key. I think in 2020, it was funny because we were kind of every time I went to Publix, I'd buy a big old thing of water and of course freaking toilet paper whenever you saw it.
Yeah, now I
So
mean, yeah, I feel like if there's 4 of us and we're all in your truck, I think excessive toilet paper grabbing is not a
where are you gonna poop?
priority.
Where are we gonna go poop? That's the
Well,
question.
you poop in the the woods. You've got leaves and stuff. Like, people just need to realize at some point, we didn't all have toilet paper. I don't know why in 2020 toilet paper was such a premium. I was like, what is going on? I did not understand that. Every time we went to the grocery store, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I don't think that I would be concerned with filling up our truck with loads and loads of toilet paper, because I'm like, eventually we're going to run out of toilet paper and you're going to have to use leaves. So life is life. But also, you have not mentioned a very important thing to bring with us. And it was mentioned in The Walking Dead first episode.
I don't recall.
Photo albums.
I'm not bringing photo
I am
albums.
bringing some photo albums. I want pictures of the little kids, and I want our kids to have. I want our grandkids to have pictures of us.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
a you
after
thing,
we're
not a me
gone,
thing.
they can tell the stories of us. Especially if I get bit by a zombie and it's very tragic, and you guys all have to kill me. At least you have pictures of me when I was like in my 20s and looked really cute. Before, like, I lost my jaw and all my whatever's hanging out. You guys have like the memories of me looking really good and remembering I'm your mom, and then I don't know if you shoot me or whatever you do, but you get rid of me, but you've got the pictures of me. So yes. And every time that we've evacuated for a hurricane, I have always grabbed the photo albums. You just don't know.
Well, it's not something a guy would think of.
Why not?
Why would a guy think of that?
Well, and then if we were to split up, how are you going to how are you going to describe me to people if we split up, or I got?
Oh, I got you down. Don't worry about it. It'll be easy. Italian chick with a big mouth. It's easy. There, oh, she's right over there.
All right, so we have a pretty. I mean, our truck is only so big, and at this point, we have like 5 bicycles. We've got photo albums. I would only take just a few. I'm sure that you would make me dump all the big bins out. I would say we would dump all our Christmas decoration bins and just fill all of those plastic bins.
Sure.
Learn that from my sister with her camping. The plastic bins are like really key, waterproof type of stuff.
Good idea.
And I like the idea of us seeking shelter by one of many of Florida's beautiful crystal springs. So there's our water source, which is somehow also not too far from saltwater.
Right.
With saltwater, we have lakes. We have lakes, and then we have springs. So I feel like we're pretty good on water. Now, I don't know where other people live, but I think I've kind of come to the conclusion that if you find yourself in an apocalyptic situation, here's a couple little decision tips. Don't go on the highway. If you have not learned from these movies that the highway means death, then you have not been paying attention. Like, it is just...
Every one of them, like the Fifth Wave. Remember the Fifth Wave? The sniper was up there just picking people off.
Yeah, like aliens find you on the highway. Like, everything finds you on the highway.
Even the silent one. What was it?
Bird Box? We'd be dead.
Bird Box. Oh, yeah.
Bird Box. Be dead. Yeah, we would be dead immediately.
But what was the other one where the aliens came down?
The one with Tom Cruise.
No, not Tom Cruise. That was Live, Die, Repeat. This is
No.
Oh my gosh, the one Quiet Place.
Oh, Quiet Place. We would also die.
Oh yeah, one. You would be the first one to go. Yeah.
I would laugh. And then here comes an alien, and
We'd
then
have
boom,
to soundproof
and oh my gosh, I could never give birth in silence. So
that
just
chick
kill
was
me.
Money.
Just kill me now. I could have never given birth in silence, and I don't know that our son's girlfriend could either. So again, okay, apocalyptic situation. Stay away from the highway. I think everybody should know that. And then the next thing is go where you know.
I think that's good advice.
Go where you know, and then if everybody took care of their family, I think we could all survive an apocalypse. If you're by yourself, let's build a little family. Let's find a little family for you. Hopefully you have some people that you're thinking of right now that are near and dear to you, that you're like, yeah, I could go through an apocalypse with that person. If you're thinking that, you either need to marry them or you guys need to come up with a plan.
Right.
Right. And then, honey, I'm sorry, but I'm looking really forward actually to the squirrel on a stick. And then, because we have a lot of squirrels, and then you need to try to start some oysters, because we're going to be eating a lot of seafood. and oysters. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going by a marina
Can I
and
ask you
kind
a
of thinking
question?
about a boat we might want to take.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why in the hell did you pick I can't even say the damn word now. Why did you pick this as a topic?
Because I think that when people are in emergency situations, the decision making really kicks in. And I told you that at one point in my life I really wanted to work at
It's emergency,
FEMA.
yeah.
I really wanted to work at FEMA because I think that I'm able to assess situations and make decisions pretty quickly. And I've seen other people who really analysis by paralysis. They just
Absolutely,
they
yes.
they just get paralyzed with making decisions, and sometimes they need somebody else around them to push them to make a decision. And I seem to kind of always be that person. And I thought, I'd learned something about you, and I think it is interesting to me, some of the things that
What
I've learned
interests you the
as you've
most?
talked.
Tell me what interests you the most about
Well,
this.
wow, you're really quite mistrusting of people. I had
Y-
no idea. Like we don't get to have any friends. Like, are we going to talk to anybody? Like, you're going to kill me. Like, I can't just talk to you for the rest of my
Trust me,
life.
that's the way it would be. But you don't know. You got to protect your own. And my opinion is first and foremost, you have to protect your own. If you don't trust no one until you can, and I wouldn't be able to trust them until I absolutely was sure they're they're good people. I mean, and when they would do the same for us. And trust me, they're taking care of their own a lot more than we would be.
Well, I've tried to say to myself, I trust everyone until someone indicates to me that they can't be trusted. So I kind of lean more on the positive side.
Right, and
And
you
you guys
should.
would be like, Mom, stop meeting people.
Well,
I think you guys would, and I would think to myself, but maybe I don't want to live if I have to like be so negative about people all the time. I mean, at that
that
point,
would suck, right? It
that
totally
I
suck
think that
for
would be
we're very
awful.
social people. Our
Yeah,
family's
I
very
think that'd
social,
be
so that would be
awful.
awful. Yeah, that
I
would
mean,
be
I'd be
awful.
talking to the zombies. We'd have to collect the zombies, and they would be my podcast audience,
You know what?
and
You
they would all want to be killed and shot.
That's exactly right.
I could kill them
They
with
would want.
talking.
They're already dead. They would just really want to die.
Okay, and so with that, I believe, have covered everything. Would you say we've covered everything in Apocalypse? I know we haven't gotten
We
down.
haven't gone to like a nuclear, like a war type of situation, which stay away from the military. I don't know. I would. It's crazy. I
Well,
mean,
all I would say is this is you would have to stay with the family. Like if the military came by and they'd say, okay, well, you have a 22-year-old and your husband, and we're going to leave you with your 19-year-old, but we need your husband and your oldest son to volunteer in the military to come with us to go get these zombies. I'm afraid that that's when I would be kind of selfish and I would be like, nope, I think if we're able to stay together, then that's four less people you have to worry about.
two less
And
people you have to feed, right?
right, and now you can focus on, solving the situation of people who, really wanted to volunteer. Or I would kind of be like, have you checked all the volunteers yet before you came and got like my husband
I
and
don't
my
think I don't
son?
think it's volunteering. I think it's voluntold.
Well, that's why I wouldn't want to be near a military base,
Right,
because I
right.
wouldn't want you guys to be voluntold and then they'd take all the women and children and put us together. And I'm sorry, I like women and children, but at this age of my life, again, kill me if I'm with all the women and children, especially some young children, or like, I don't know why, but particularly like kids between 8 and 10. That's such a bratty period. Like, I think I would walk out and just be like, where's Lynn going? Oh, she's walking into the woods because she got stuck in the tent with the 8 to 10-year-olds. I don't know. So yeah, okay, all right. So wrapping up, this has been fun. I like the idea of us talking about
What
what if
ifs? Yeah, that's
situations.
fun.
I know this was our extreme what if situation,
Yeah, I'd say.
but COVID happened. The
Yeah,
train situation happened in Venice. We are in Florida with hurricanes, and it's interesting. They say you should always have a plan, and we've never really written down a plan. And I'm going to put a little plug out there for something I heard about. Apparently, there's somebody on Etsy that creates these maps where water sources are for all of the states. So like it's like a little zombie apocalypse map that like
God.
tells you places to go like in a what if scenario. So I might post that link on my website decisiondiaries.com just for fun, and if you guys want to go out there and look and see, hey, where would your place possibly be? And here's another thing. If you've just moved, because lots of people after COVID have moved to new and exciting places to try things out. And then we've got this, population that are almost like nomads, people
Oh
going
yeah.
around in RVs and everything like that. Get really familiar where you are because this could happen. This could
Goodness gracious. Thanks,
Thank
Lynn.
thank you for coming on and being my guest, honey.
Always.
Always a pleasure. I hope we could survive. If not,
It's
it
been a
is
hell
what
of a
it
run,
is.
man. We've
It's been
done
a heck
well.
of a run. All right. Thank you everyone who has listened to this what if episode. If
Hey.
you like the what if decisions, please go up to my website and give me some feedback and give me some other ideas of what if situations. More decisions to come. So, thank you so much for listening. Please go to decisiondiaries.com. Thank you.
Decision Diaries.